Kenya is my home, and I've traveled world over. I'm not saying this because I'm a Kenyan, but I would like to tell you that Kenya is a very unique country. It's a very special place. Sometimes I sit back and I say, I think when God created everything, He created Kenya last, and He said, you take everything that was left. Because when you look around, we virtually have everything. Nature has been given to us. We don't have to reconstruct and reclaim land to come up with a beach. The beach in Kenya is so powdery that you may think it is glucose or it's sugar, white sugar. It's amazing. I mean, you cannot fake it. You can't try and imitate or duplicate that. Nature has already given us all this unbelievable stuff. Where will you find 500 buffaloes in one place? Where will you find 50 elephants in one place? Or 50 giraffes or 50 zebras? There's places that you can even find 1,000 buffaloes. More than a quarter of our country actually has been reserved for wildlife. And the way we look at it is that this wildlife is not actually for Kenya alone. We're actually conserving it for mankind, because this is one of the few places on earth where you can see real wildlife in the wild, natural setting.
Rwanda, the origin of Rwanda is Kigali, and Rwanda also, for those who may not know, is the safest country in Africa. So it's all about demystifying the perceptions that there is no safety in Kenya, there's no safety in Rwanda, there's no safety in Africa. Indeed, Africa is a very safe place, very rich in culture, and very welcoming. We're the only carrier that flies from Dubai to Mombasa thrice weekly. As far as Kenya is concerned, for instance, you either can fly into Mombasa and do what I can call the coastal circuit. The coastal circuit is basically where you're going roundabout in the coast, visit Mombasa and the parks, Tsavo East and Tsavo West. We can also fly you from Dubai or from any destination into Nairobi. And then from Nairobi, you're able now to go to the various parks like Masai Mara. You can either go by road or you can fly from Nairobi into Masai Mara. So we basically would bring you from a point into either Kigali or into either Nairobi or Mombasa, and from there you're able to do a lot of connections.
All I can say is that strengths are many. But at the same time, we also have huge opportunities, and some of the opportunities that is staring at us is the regional tourism and countries that are very close to Kenya. If you look at Kenya, the location of Kenya is actually it's almost the heart of Africa. So for us, we don't take that for granted. So the opportunities are huge. But the only challenge that we face as an African continent also is the fact that we don't have great aviation industry, and the skies are still closed. Many people in Africa have to travel, have to leave the continent to come back to the continent.
Initially, the focus was in Africa, and the GCC, or rather UAE, was the first destination out of Africa that Rwanda Air chose to fly to, and mainly because of the importance of things such as trade. There's a lot of traffic into Dubai, but we're also trying to get as much out of Dubai into different places within Africa. And more is to educate the public, is to educate the consumers that, hey, there's a lot of potential in Africa. The perceptions that have been in the market or with a lot of people about Africa, we need to demystify those perceptions.
And that's why we are partnering with partners like Rwanda Air, Holiday Factory in Dubai. We can try and educate and inform the masses out in the GCC that actually Kenya and Africa is a safe place to visit, exciting place to go to, etc. The GCC market, all the countries in the Gulf are considered to be the emerging market in the eyes of the Kenya Tourism Board, the Magical Kenya. We are trying to attract the locals, and then we have the high number of expatriates who live and work in the GCC countries. Instead of going back to Europe or going back to where they already know, we're trying to introduce them to Africa. And if you look at the flight time between Nairobi and or Mombasa and Dubai, it's hardly 5 hours. So it's doable. It's not a long haul.
What people in the UAE will get in Kenya is a friendly people, enough wildlife, beautiful, delicious cuisine, and of course, entertainment. Which is more of the nature of people. Like when we talk of the Maasai tribe, they are literally living their culture. This is something new, it's educative, it's interesting, and it's captivating.
Heritage Hotels is a key player in Kenya's tourism, a key player. We've been around for 36 years, close to how long the country has been in existence. So we will continue to play our role, and we're looking at expanding within the country and also in the region. We have our beach resort, which is the Voyager Beach Resort, the only ship-themed resort in Africa. And if you want to do a short safari, we have a camp, a work camp, the Voyager Ziwani, in a private sanctuary, which is 5,000 acres, and where we also even do night game drives.
One thing you realize about the Voyager is we use nautical terminology. So we do not have guests, we have passengers. We do not have staff, we have crews. We do not have a general manager, we have a cruise captain, and we have an admiral. So we use nautical terminologies in every aspect of our day-to-day engagement with the passengers. So for this reason, the passengers, guests, literally get to into the rhythm, and they now tend to just go on with the flow. So they will even come up and ask, hey, so where are we docking tonight? And you say Kenya. Voyager Ziwani is our tented camp. Now here the tourists now enjoy a different atmosphere again, because it's all tented camps. And Voyager Ziwani is in a sanctuary. It enables the tourists to have night game drives, which is beautiful because at night the animals tend to come out to the plains where they know the predators are not going to catch them. So it also gives the tourists an opportunity to get to see more animals at night, which is quite interesting because there's quite a lot to learn about the animal world.
This airline has been in existence for about 10 years, whereas I know there are other carriers who've been in existence for 30, 40 years. When you look at what Rwanda is doing, we're scoring a lot of firsts in Africa. We're going to be the only carrier, we're going to be the first in Africa to operate the Airbus. That's a unique thing about Rwanda. We're going to be the first to offer internet connectivity. So you can see the airline, despite the fact that it's a young airline, so to speak, there's a lot coming in the pipeline. We need to send out a very strong message that we're not who people think we are out there. The perception is very wrong, and only until you come into Africa is when you realize that this is just a story, but the true picture is that people are very friendly. We have a lot to offer.
You don't have to train any Kenyan how to smile. It's second nature to them. And it's the only language, Swahili, where a foreigner and a guest have the same name. They're all called wageni. And everywhere you go, they're willing to help. Despite, they may not be rich, but they're very rich at heart. And I think that's far bigger than anything, that money could buy.